Hello everyone, hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we'll explore what really happens after that strange phone call and the jealous woman quietly trying to break Alex and Tuna apart. If you enjoy this video, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next episodes. The late afternoon sun slanted across Alex's mother's small yard as his car rolled to a stop by the gate. The house looked the same as always. Old tiled roof, a few potted plants lined up by the steps. But ever since baby Henry appeared, the whole place felt different, softer somehow. From the back seat, Henry let out a little squeal, waving his arms as if he already recognized the house. Beside him, Tuna adjusted his hat and smiled, her fingers instinctively checking the zipper on his little jacket, so he wouldn't catch a chill when they went inside. In the front seat, Alex's mother leaned back and looked at them for the 10th time since they'd left the farm. "Bring him here," she urged the moment the engine turned off. "You two can carry the bags. I'll carry my grandson." "Mom, careful with his arm," Alex reminded as he came around to open the door. "That's the side they gave him the shot." Yes, I know," she said, but her hands were steady and sure as she lifted Henry from the seat. "You think I've never held a baby before? Go grab the fruit. Don't let my future daughter-in-law carry everything." "Mom?" Alex protested automatically. Tuna ducked her head, cheeks flushing. "Auntie, I'm just an employee," she said softly. "Please don't say that. People might misunderstand." "Let them misunderstand their own life," his mother replied without missing a beat. "I'll worry about mine. Now come in. The soup is almost ready." Inside, the living room had slowly turned into a baby-friendly zone. A clean mat was spread on the floor, a couple of toys sat in one corner, and a folded blanket lay ready near the sofa. Alex's mother laid Henry down carefully, then stayed hovering near him, wiggling her fingers above his face until he smiled. "See?" she said proudly. "He knows who loves him most." "He smiles at anyone who picks him up," Alex teased. "You're not special, Mom." "I'm special to me," she replied. "And that's enough." They settled into a comfortable rhythm. Tuna followed Alex's mother into the kitchen, insisting on helping, even though she'd already spent the whole morning working at the farm. The older woman complained that she should rest, but still handed her vegetables to wash and herbs to chop. From time to time, their voices drifted out. Talk of pig pens, vegetable prices, whether the light Alex installed at the farm was bright enough. In the living room, Alex sat cross-legged on the mat, lifting Henry in the air and pretending he was an airplane. The baby's laughter bounced off the walls, turning the small house into something that felt unexpectedly full. On the low table nearby, Alex's phone lay face up, quiet and forgotten. Lunch passed with the kind of warmth that made time feel slower. They ate simple dishes, braised fish, stir-fried greens, a bowl of bone broth that Alex's mother swore was good for recovery. She kept sliding the best pieces into Tuna's bowl, scolding Alex for working too hard and not eating properly, praising Henry for being such a good boy, just for existing. After the meal, Alex offered to wash dishes, but both women pushed him away. "Go play with the child," his mother ordered. "You only get to be useful in that department." "Yes, boss," he said, mock saluting before heading back to the mat. While Alex lifted Henry up and down, making him giggle, the phone on the table suddenly lit up and began to ring. The number on the screen wasn't saved, just a long string of digits. "Who's calling you now?" Alex's mother called from the kitchen. Alex glanced over, but his hands were full. "Tuna, can you check it for me?" he asked. "If it's work, Tell them I'll call back. If it's someone trying to sell me something, hang up." "I'll get it," she said, wiping her hands dry and stepping into the room. She picked up the phone, studying the screen for a second. "It's an unknown number," she said. "Should I answer?" "Yeah," Alex replied casually. "Go ahead." She hesitated just a breath. Answering his phone felt strangely intimate, but then she pressed accept and lifted it to her ear. "Hello," she said politely. "This is Alex's phone. He's holding the baby right now and can't come to the phone. Can I help you with anything?" There was a small silence on the other end, the kind that tells you the person didn't expect that voice. Then a young woman spoke, her tone smooth but edged with surprise. "Alex?" the caller said slowly. "Who are you? Why are you answering his phone?" "I'm a friend," Tu Na replied, a bit startled but keeping her voice calm. "He asked me to pick up because his hands are full. If you tell me your name, I can ask him to call you back when he's free." "A friend?" the woman repeated, drawing the word out like she wanted to peel it open and see what was inside. "And he's with a baby?" "Yes," Tu Na answered simply. "We're at his mother's house." This time the silence weighed heavier. When the woman spoke again, her tone had shifted, still polite but tighter, like a smile stretched too thin. "I see," she said. "No need to leave my name. Just tell him an old friend called. I'll message him later. Thank you for answering." Before Tu Na could respond, the line went dead. She stared at the screen for a moment, then gently set the phone back on the table. "Who was it?" Alex asked, lifting Henry up so the baby could fly over his head. "Client?" "I don't know," she said honestly. "She didn't say, just that she's an old friend and she'll text you." "All right," Alex replied with a shrug, more focused on keeping Henry from drooling in his hair. "If it's important, she'll contact me again." To him, it was just another call to deal with later. But across town, the woman who had called was still holding her own phone, staring at the dark screen with narrowed eyes. So there's a woman answering his phone now, she thought, annoyance simmering under her calm expression. At his mother's house, with a baby. And she calls herself his friend. For a long time, she'd admired Alex from a careful distance, watching the way he handled meetings, how he negotiated contracts, how he treated people fairly. To her, Alex wasn't just another man. He was a solid future, dependable, respectable, a partner who wouldn't crumble when life got hard. She'd always believed she had time, that if she moved slowly and wisely, she could naturally slip from colleague or acquaintance into something more. Now that quiet confidence cracked. If I keep standing still, she told herself, someone else is going to take that place beside him. I'm not going to let that happen. With Alex, she saw a life without constant financial fear, without chasing every unstable opportunity, without wondering if her efforts would vanish with one failed project. With Alex's mother's approval, that life would be even smoother. Respect in the family, respect in the community, stability on all sides. Her mind began to move quickly, going straight at Alex now, while there was already some woman close enough to answer his phone and talk about being in his mother's house, might be clumsy. But winning his mother's heart first? That would make everything easier. She opened her contacts and scrolled until she found the number she'd saved carefully. Auntie. With a steady breath, she hit call. "Auntie, it's me," she said sweetly when the older woman picked up. Her voice softened, dripping concern and affection. "Are you free this afternoon?" I was thinking you've been working so hard for so many years. Let me pick you up and take you shopping. You deserve to relax and buy something nice for yourself. I'd be honored to treat you." On the other end of the line, Alex's mother laughed. "You girls and your shopping," she said. "But I don't have anything urgent to do today. Fine, come over. I'll wait by the gate. Let's see what you're really up to." As the call ended, the young woman lowered the phone and smiled, her eyes gleaming with quiet determination. Step 1, she thought. Win over his mother. Then I'll find out exactly who that friend with the baby is and how long she can stay once I start moving. That afternoon, after Alex dropped Tu Na and baby Henry back at the farm and drove away, the other woman wasn't resting at all. She sat at her dressing table, phone in hand, replaying the moment she'd heard Tu Na's voice answer Alex's call. The soft, polite, "I'm Alex's friend. He's busy right now," echoed in her ears like an insult she hadn't seen coming. The more she thought about it, the more her smile hardened. From that moment in her mind, it stopped being a vague crush and became a goal. Alex wasn't just a good man anymore. He was a man she refused to lose. Successful, responsible, handsome, filial, and now with a company that was starting to reach further than the local market. If she married him, her future would be secure. If someone like Tu Na got there first, she'd never forgive herself. She took a deep breath, opened her contacts, and scrolled to Auntie. Her thumb hovered only a second before pressing call. The plan was simple: strengthen her bond with Alex's mother, become the sensible girl everyone trusted, and slowly turn the house's atmosphere into a place where someone like Tu Na would always feel like an outsider, no matter how many times she visited. "Auntie, are you free tomorrow?" she asked cheerfully when the call connected. "I saw some beautiful fabrics and thought of you. If you're not busy, I'd love to take you out to look around, maybe buy you a new outfit. Alex is so busy these days, someone has to spoil you a little, right?" On the other end, Alex's mother hesitated just a moment, then agreed. The attention felt nice. After years of pouring herself into her children, having someone treat her like she was the one being taken care of tugged at something inside her, a mix of loneliness and pride. The next day, walking through bright shopping aisles, the young woman played her role perfectly. She asked about Alex's childhood, laughed at old stories, made small, thoughtful comments that sounded respectful and warm. She never criticized Tu Na directly, but every now and then, she let a small sentence drop like a seed. "Alex is so soft-hearted," she'd say, pretending to sigh. "Sometimes I'm scared people in complicated situations might lean on him too much." Or, "It's one thing to help an employee, another thing entirely if people start saying he's taking responsibility for a woman who already has a child." Each line sounded like concern, like loyalty. But under the surface, it was all construction. Building a quiet wall between Tu Na and the family without ever looking like she was the one stacking the bricks. Meanwhile, at the farm, life moved with a different rhythm. Tu Na woke early to cook porridge for Henry, swept the yard, fed the chickens, checked the pigs. Every so often, she'd stop and look at her phone, remembering the woman's voice on the line, the faint surprise when she'd answered, the pause that said everything. She didn't need anyone to spell it out. That woman didn't see her as a person who deserved help. She saw her as a threat. And if that woman was already close enough to Alex's mother to call and invite her out, it meant the battlefield wasn't the farm
right now?
or the factory.
Not really,
It was the family itself. When Alex visited that evening, retired from the factory, but still bringing small toys and fresh fruit for Henry, Tu Na watched him with different eyes. She noticed how easily he carried the baby, how naturally he asked about her day, how he always checked if the fan was working and the mosquito net was secure before he left. The more he did, the more she felt both grateful and guilty. "Your mother likes that girl, doesn't she?" Tu Na asked quietly after they'd eaten and Henry had fallen asleep. Alex paused, chopsticks halfway to the bowl. "Which girl?" he asked, though he knew. "The one who called the other day," she said. "The one who took your mother shopping. She must be very close to your family." "She's someone who's been around a long time," Alex admitted. "My mother appreciates her care, but that doesn't mean she gets to decide how I live my life." "It doesn't have to be her deciding," Tu Na replied, voice soft. "Sometimes it's enough that she keeps talking in your mother's ear. I don't want to be the reason your house becomes divided, or the reason people think badly of you." Alex leaned back, exhaling slowly. He'd been feeling the tension too, the way his mother's questions had shifted from "Are they okay?" to "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" The way his sister had hinted that his choices would affect the whole family. The pressure was real, but so was the way his heart calmed whenever he stepped into this modest farmhouse. "Listen," he said, turning to face her fully. "You and Henry are not a mistake I need to hide or correct. You're not a problem for me to solve. I don't deny that things are complicated. But if I let other people's fears decide for me, then I may as well not have a life of my own. And if your mother asks you to choose," she whispered, "between me and your reputation?" He didn't answer immediately. The weight of that question was too heavy for an easy promise. Instead, he reached out and gently took her hand, fingers warm and firm around her trembling ones. "Then I'll have an honest conversation with her," he said. "Not about gossip, not about what that woman says, but about what I want, about the kind of man she raised. I don't believe she brought me up to abandon someone just because it's easier to explain to others." Out in the city, as night settled in, the other woman sat with her phone, scrolling through Alex's messages, crafting careful, neutral texts. "I hope your mother liked the handbag," she wrote. "If you need help with the export documents next week, let me know. I can support you anytime." Every word was designed to make herself look indispensable, reliable, everything that, on paper, a good match should be. But paper couldn't show the look in Alex's eyes when he watched Henry sleep, or the way his shoulders dropped in relief when he arrived at the farm after a stressful day. It couldn't show the way Tu Na always lowered herself to the background at his house, trying not to take up space, trying not to make any trouble. Even when everyone else was talking about her life like it was a rumor, in his mother's mind, two images now competed: the polished, well-dressed young woman who knew how to flatter, how to buy gifts, how to talk about contracts and markets, and the quiet girl from the farm, hands rough from work, cradling a child that had no one else in the world but her and the man who had stepped in. Who's better for him? She asked herself late one night, alone at the table. The girl who fits the picture everyone expects, or the one who already shares his burdens without asking for a name? There was no answer yet, just a growing tension, like a rope being pulled from both ends. Back at the farm, under a sky full of faint stars, Alex and Tu Na sat side by side. He didn't make promises he couldn't guarantee. She didn't ask him to cut anyone out of his life. But in the quiet, with Henry breathing softly inside They made a different kind of agreement, a silent one. She would stop trying to disappear just to make things easier for him. He would stop letting other people draw the borders of his happiness. And somewhere in the middle of all the noise, phone calls, shopping trips, whispered opinions, two people who had already been through more storms than they deserved decided that for once, they were going to hold their ground and see who truly had the courage to stand beside Alex when the dust finally settled. After Alex brings Tu Na and baby Henry to visit his mother, a mysterious young woman calls his phone and is shocked when Tu Na answers. Jealous and threatened, she decides she won't let Alex fall into someone else's hands. She quickly moves to win over Alex's mother, taking her shopping, flattering her, and quietly planting doubts about Tu Na's past and position in the family. While the woman schemes from the outside, Alex and Tu Na struggle with insecurity, gossip, and family pressure, forcing Alex to choose whether he'll let others dictate his future or openly protect the little family in his heart.